One thing we haven't looked at yet is these little buttons down here show us some extra stuff. And one of them is particularly important to us here. This little X is going to show us crossfade. So if you've ever seen a DJ perform, they're often wearing headphones, hearing something in their headphones that's different than what's going out to the house, right? And they have a crossfader. We already looked at mapping the crossfader on the APC 40 to a different parameter just for fun. But how a crossfader is normally used is something like this. And typically, on something like the APC 40 that actually has a crossfader, that crossfader is going to be mapped to this crossfader, which is like the crossfader built into Live. You can map whatever you want to this. If you've got any kind of controller that has an up-down slider or anything like that, you can map it to this crossfader. Now what this does is you'll see that in addition to this slider, we also got all these little ABs. Okay? So this is A and this is B, right? So for each track, we're going to assign it to either A or B. So let's say this one is A and this one is B. These are B. Or you could say these are A, these are all A, and all my effects are B if we wanted. Could do it that way too. Not all my effects necessarily, but all my buses are B. But let's keep it simple. Let's say these are B's and these are A's. So now what you're hearing is A and B. So you can slide between them. And this is what's going to go out your master. It's going to be A, B, or both, or some mix of them. You can set up your headphones, which is this volume here, to hear the opposite. You would do that in your settings. Or more commonly, your headphones might hear both, A and B, and then you can decide which one to send out to the main with this crossfader. So crossfader is totally mappable, and it's kind of hidden away. Let's look at what else is here also. This track delay, I believe, is something new in Live 11. This is not an effect. This is a very teeny tiny delay, like milliseconds, that we would use for phasing issues. Like, let's say you've got a track where this is panned all the way left and this is panned all the way right, let's say, and the left speaker is right next to you and the right speaker is way far away. That might cause a problem because you've got a super long cable heading to the right speaker. So you might delay the left speaker just a little bit, not that much, just so that the sound gets to both speakers at the same time. So you wouldn't use this as any kind of delay effect. This is like a compensating for a weird sound system in a room kind of deal. So I'm going to turn that off. And then down here, we have a little CPU meter that shows us what each track is doing. You can see that up here. This shows what percentage of my computer Ableton is using. So right now, Ableton is using 4%. I can get a little more info if I go here. But down here, it says what each track is using. Okay, and none of these are using very much at all. That vocal one is using a little bit, right, when it's playing, because it's got a lot of effects on it and things. But everything else is not even breaking through the smallest amount of CPU usage. So I'm in good shape. If you've got this screaming, and this is up in the 60 or 70%, then you're at risk of your computer crashing. So if that's happening, you might want to open this up so you can see which track is causing you the problem, and then perhaps flatten that track or something to lighten the load. But normally I keep it hidden. And I keep the crossfader hidden when I'm not doing any kind of DJ stuff. So just know about those, especially the crossfader.